You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, I'm Philip Heidson, and today is Friday, November 17th, 2023.
6.
This week's Procurement 6 is brought to you by Synertrade. Mediaset is the largest commercial broadcaster in Italy. Although they had a supplier risk framework prior to 2020, its limits were becoming clear. When the pandemic hit, there was no question it was time for a new, more robust supplier risk management model. Luca Visettin is the head of group supplier certification and analytics for the Mediaset Group, and Stefano Lubian is head of procurement solutions at Synertrade. They recently shared their experience and observations in a case study titled Third-Party Risk Management, an Innovative Supplier Risk Management Model. Download your copy of that report using the link in today's show notes to benefit from their risk management journey and to accelerate your own.
5.
This week on the podcast, we published a special 4-part special series tackling the subject of AI-empowered procurement. Now, I really enjoy recording these series. They include 4 bite-sized interviews that can be listened to on their own, but collectively they all make up a bigger story. And in this series, I was joined by Clive Heal and Bill Michaels at Lavernier AI. We introduced the procurement metaverse, digital literacy, the data challenge, and what all this means for procurement. Now, in the first part of this series, I asked Clive, what exactly is the procurement metaverse?
So we need to differentiate first, Phil, between the metaverse and the procurement metaverse. The metaverse is what everybody in the world will be able to explore and utilize. The procurement metaverse, I think, follows as a subset, if you like, where all of our procure technology sits, where we interact with our business partners and our suppliers, where we do business basically in the procurement metaverse. But I think it's important to think of the two as separate. The metaverse is much, much bigger. The procurement metaverse follows on.
I think a lot of people who are listening's experience of the term metaverse will be related to, what Facebook did in terms of, creating this alternative world, if you will, with characters walking through it. Now, is that, when we talk metaverse, is that just a part of metaverse? Is that what people should be having in their mind in terms of what metaverse means? I just love if you could kind of, make it real for, how should people be visualizing this?
Sure. So the metaverse you can think of as a world that you can enter through a virtual reality headset is one way of thinking of it. And basically there are 3 different elements to the metaverse. And this is one of the reasons why it's really going to take off. The first one is the social side, where people will be able to meet their friends, talk, have conversations. Instead of using a phone, use their headset. I use my headset for my WhatsApp calls. So use the headset as a way of socially interacting with friends who may be real or actually not real. They may just be avatars. The second part of the metaverse is the consumer side, where you can actually walk into stores, see products, buy real or NFT products. They may or may not be real. And that already exists at the moment right now. Maybe come back to that. The third part is business, where you can actually go to have your business meetings, where you meet your business partners, your suppliers, where you can actually access your procure technology. So it's these 3 different components. And that, in a way, is why it's actually so powerful, because people will start to use it on the consumer and social side first before the business applications come. So they'll actually get used to making calls, talking to their friends, using the headsets. And then as the business side kicks in, then they'll start to do some of their work there as well. And there's already huge investments being made in all of the different elements of the metaverse right now, a lot of money being spent. And so when it really gets going, it's like a global mall that's already there. It's not like it's an empty store and there's not much in the store. It's actually going to be, and already is, opportunities to purchase things, do different things, and of course the games as well. It will become addictive. You can already go in. I can put a headset on and I can go into 3D World VR, and I can visit Monaco, and I can go into the stores in Monaco, a whole digital twin of the whole city. I can go there right now and spend money and buy products, real products and virtual products already in the metaverse. So people say, when's it going to come? It's actually already here.
4.
Procurement has long lamented feeling underappreciated and unloved. As it turns out, so does every other team outside of the C-suite. This presents us with two options: to continue lamenting or get on with the business of creating value and winning hearts and minds. Now, this was a topic they explored a couple of weeks ago at our AOP Mastermind Live event with Dan French, CEO at Consider Solutions and a highly experienced leader across a number of different businesses. Dan helped us understand that we're not alone in feeling unloved within a business. He shared a number of ideas on how we can overcome this and make a difference when it matters the most. Now, one thing that stood out to me, and it's a great reminder, is the power of collaboration with other business functions. We often look at these functions as adversaries or obstacles, much as they often look at procurement in the same way. But a simple question can make all the difference. How can we collectively help our mutual stakeholders achieve their goals? Just one simple way in how we approach a relationship with another business unit, and we can transform how we work together for the greater good. It's all about just asking, how can we collectively work together to help our mutual stakeholders achieve their goals?
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
A lot of effort, quite rightly, goes into negotiation training. Empathy, active listening, non-verbal cues, BATNA, power dynamics, and preparation are just some of the skills that are taught. But that being said, you don't start planning for a negotiation until close to the time when a negotiation takes place. You've lost a lot of the ability to really plan out in advance and get the most out of that negotiation that's coming. My experience was that the best outcomes were actually achieved when I'd created a position over a longer period of time that provided me with the ability to negotiate a good outcome when the time came. So as an example, a tactic that I really loved was developing credible alternative sources of supply when my primary supplier was in a monopoly position. A lot of work went into that, and it can take a year or more of advance work. But when negotiation time arrives, having that credible alternative, it provides you with a far greater range of options. You just need to make sure that you're rewarding that alternative work, even if it's a smaller amount, so you're demonstrating that you have the ability to switch from that supplier that's in a monopoly situation. Now, these are some of the tactics of category management. But if you don't have a category management structure in place, I just really encourage you to look out 12 to 18 months and identify what you believe will be your most difficult negotiations and start that planning process right now.
2.
Uncertainty on the future of inflation remains as we come towards the end of 2023, especially here in the United States. While many commentators are suggesting that interest rates are done rising, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said last week that the central bank has a long way to go before determining inflation is fully under control, and did not rule out additional rate hikes and the long-term inflation target of 2% requiring some kind of slowdown. So what does that mean for procurement? Well, obviously, we're going to continue to be facing a lot of cost increase pressure. But anecdotally, I'm also hearing that savings, and more savings remain the key performance metrics for most organizations going into 2024. Now, if you're an organization that's the beginning of their journey for expense management, we talked to a lot of companies like that during the course of our work. We actually built out a comprehensive guide to more than 20 expense management tactics a couple of years ago. It's all in a blog post, free to access. I really encourage you to check it out. It's artofprocurement.com/expense management. I will put that link in the show notes, but it really gives you a great starting point for lots of different ways that you can think about cost management.
1.
Now, 2023 may rapidly be coming to a close, but there's no slowdown in the number of educational webinars that we're producing here at Art of Procurement. Our next AOP Live webinar is going to take place on November 29th. We're going to be hosting Chris Sawchuk of the Hackett Group and Vishal Patel at iValua to review the Hackett Group's 2023 Procurement Value Measurement Study. So join us to explore if the Hackett Group research aligns with our anecdotal CPO conversations on the importance of savings next year, and to hear other ways in which you can demonstrate the value of your team beyond savings as we continue to look to establish more balanced scorecards. You can register for free by going to artofprocurement.com/calendar or clicking the link in today's episode show notes. If you can't make it, then you'll have access to the session as soon as it's completed, so long as you register before the 29th of November.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.